Fantastic. So thank you everybody for taking the time, especially out of a busy Wednesday, to come to our event today. So before I start, I wanted to ask people, first, who's heard of Airbnb before? Pretty much everybody has heard a little bit about Airbnb. And so I don't want to go way too much detail because most of you guys already kind of know what it is. So I'm just going to give you a couple of helpful hints that I personally have discovered and learned from to make sure that you guys can at least get started on Airbnb. So kind of the topics we're going to cover today is first and foremost, what is Airbnb, which most of you guys already know what it is. Secondly, how to get started. And third and most important, tips for a successful hosting. There's definitely a lot of ways to do it, but you want to make sure that if you're going to do it right and make it a business, not just a hobby or something you just do once in a while. So a little bit about myself. Bei has kind of introduced myself already. My name is Jing. I am a real estate licensed broker, and I've been renting out properties since 2009. So I've actually been doing this for about 10 years now. And I got my real estate license and mortgage loan license back in 2012, and been hosting on Airbnb since 2016. So I have some experience that I want to share with everybody to get the most out of everyone's experience learning about Airbnb. So if you don't mind, let me sit down. So kind of in a brief example of what is Airbnb, it was founded in 2008 as a platform connecting travelers and hosts. So think of it as like a marketplace where there's travelers and there's hosts. And what it allows people to do is rent their properties and travelers could select these properties and stay for a duration of time. And more importantly, the reason why Airbnb is so popular is that there's currently over 4 million listings around the world, over 190 countries. And you also have complete control as a host. That's kind of what I like about Airbnb is that there's a lot of things you have control over, and more importantly, you also have a lot of things that you could do to increase the value of your place that you're renting out. So kind of how it works, pretty simple. You get to decide what you're renting, when you're renting, as well as how much you could charge for. So you could charge different prices for weekdays, weekends, and guests could see your listing and select to book for a certain duration of time. So they could stay for as little as a day, 2 days. I currently have somebody staying for 39 nights that's working at Hitachi, and he needed a place to stay for over a month. And he said, well, your place looks perfect for me and my coworker. I'll stay at your place. And you can rent out just an entire place or just a room, or you could do a mix and match. And last but not least, you could think of yourself as hosting a hotel. So you are the hotel and you have people coming in and booking. So let me show you a kind of like an example of what it looks like here. So this is a currently my place that I'm on Airbnb out right now. So you can see, have a description, kind of what the place is. It's 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, and kind of some instructions for the guest, and a brief description of what the property is. So for example, this one is a 2 bedroom, 2 bath, single family house with nice front yard, close to Levi Stadiums, downtown Sunnyvale, as well as a lot of the high-tech companies. So you could just put some things like, for example, is close to the Sunnyvale Apple campus, downtown Sunnyvale, as well as the LinkedIn headquarters and Google headquarters. And there's a couple more things. So this is all basically, you can write whatever you want. And right here, it talks about some amenities. So it talks, like for example, there's air conditioning, dryer, washer, TV, all the essential things, and free parking space, and some other things as well here. And this kind of gives you like an idea of what the space looks like. So there's one room has a queen bed, and another one has a double bed, along with a counter. This is all up to you. The reason why mine is booked all the way, and because there's somebody that's staying until end of March right now, and also have some availabilities. I have a couple spots booked in April, and there's some availabilities in April, and then reviews. I'll talk about this a little bit more because this is probably the most important thing about being a host, is making sure you get good reviews. So yeah, and kind of gives a description of where the property is located, and then also you could write in rules. Like for example, this place I didn't want pets or children, and making sure that they take their shoes off and park on the street, and also make sure they knew that there is a Ring doorbell in the main entrance. And so also down here it talks about like similar things, like similar other listings as well, so it kind of gives the host. And right here are some pictures, and we can talk a little bit more about pictures later, but pictures is very important. You want to make sure you take good pictures of your property. And you can see right here is kind of goes into description of like has like a little kitchen, a hallway, utensils, also dining table, one of the bedrooms with a queen bed, and another bed right here, bathroom, shower, one with a bathtub, washer and dryer. And I include this so that way they kind of have an idea of the layout of the house. So kind of have a listing. Did anyone have any questions about anything so far, or? I'm gonna go back to this here. So present. So now, why Airbnb? Who here has done traditional rental, like have rented out a place? And one of the things that with traditional rentals that I found out is that you, as great as it is, definitely steady flow of income, I found out that by doing Airbnb, it's significantly higher because you could charge by the day, and you could net to up to about 50% more in terms of the net rent after all expenses compared to just traditional rental if you break it down by the day. And there's right now, especially in the Bay Area, there's a shortage of places to stay. There's always business travelers, they need a place to stay, and there's not enough hotel rooms for that. And not sure if you had the chance to take a look around what the hotel charges around here are. It's pretty high, right? It's like $200 at least, and more so than not, it's always filled. So there's no place to stay. And then a lot of travelers, I found, they're all here for a business, and they just need a place to stay for the night that they could pay less than a hotel. As well, some of them actually do prefer to cook. Like my current guest, they specifically requested, we want to have these pots, we want to have these knives, we want to make sure that we have certain things that they could cook. Because you think about this, if you stay at a place for 39 nights, you're not going to probably eat out every single night, right? That could get pretty expensive. So you want to have a way to save some money and have a place to cook. And then, more importantly, you also have a platform that advertises for you around the world. So there's 4 million listings, you have people all over the world that could look at your place. Versus a lot of times, if you're just renting out like normal rentals, it's just the local market. So you have like a pool to a wider range of audience that could stay at your place. And to kind of get started on Airbnb, this is where I want to spend some time with, because a lot of people think, oh, it's very easy, you just post your stuff online, take some pictures, that's it. There's actually a couple of things I found out that you want to be aware of before you get started. The first one is check your local city about short-term rental regulations. A lot of places now have made requirements for short-term rental. For example, in Sunnyvale, you need to register with the city to get a permit, a short-term rental permit that costs about $80 or so. So you want to make sure you get that permit, and that way you actually register with the city as compliant. And the reason why they do this is because there is a short-term rental occupancy tax of 12%. that needs to be collected. Thankfully, Airbnb does that for you on your behalf. They collect it from the guests, and if it's shorter than 30 days, it automatically does the calculation for you in Sunnyvale.
Do you need a business license?
You don't need a business license, but definitely if you do have one, that's great. But the short-term rental occupancy is a permit essentially. It's
That's
saying,
enough.
yeah.
Okay.
So basically, just register this property is going to be used for short-term rental, and agree to the agreements. And so that's the first one. The second one is make sure you get homeowners insurance. So should put insurance, but insurance is very, very important. And here's the reason why. The normal insurance that you get from your insurance company for fire, it doesn't cover business activities. Business activities is what Airbnb is legally defined at. So you want to make sure you check with your insurance. Can you do Airbnb with your current homeowner insurance? And if not, make sure you get the proper coverage. I'll talk about a little bit more in detail, but I found out through my old insurance, they would not cover it. They're like, nope, sorry, we can't do that. Or they could say, there's limitation of how many people you rent out. So make sure you get the proper coverage for your Airbnb.
So do you mean not every insurance company will cover this?
Exactly.
So you call them, you tell them,
I want to do
Airbnb.
Airbnb. And they're gonna ask you, okay, do you live in the property? Sometimes if you live in the property, they won't cover that either. So some companies will cover it, but you can't live in the property. So you have like a separate rental that you do Airbnb. Some companies said, okay, we could do that. But other ones could say, no, we don't cover Airbnb if you live in the property. So sometimes it kind of depends on what you're looking to do, but make sure you find the right insurance and ask your insurance company, do you cover Airbnb? I'm looking to do Airbnb at this property. And also decide how often do you want to host and how long do you want to stay for. Some people just want to rent out just a room and they want to do it part-time. Yeah, sure, absolutely. So some people want to do it just part-time. Just like, okay, maybe once on the weekends. Other people want to do, okay, I want to do it as often as possible. So you need to decide that. And lastly, the thing you want to do is you want to make sure you get at least these basic amenities, bare minimum for your guests. So think of it when you go to a hotel, for example, or a motel, there are certain things you expect, right? Like, for example, make sure your bed is clean with clean pillows and blankets. You want to have bath towels, toilet paper, shampoo, tables, chairs, cooking utensils and plates. Most people will at least want to cook, so at least have some kind of basic plates and utensils for them. Also, if you can, get a mini fridge or even better, a full refrigerator, depending on what you need. A coffee maker is nice. A coffee maker would help for if they do coffee, or if not, at least some kind of hot water maker. TV and high-speed Wi-Fi, and lastly, washer and dryer. Those are at least the basic things. You can obviously add more things, but that should be enough for you to at least get started, where the guests can at least have a comfortable night and be able to give you a good review afterwards. Any questions on this, or think things go over?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
I heard about in Sunnyvale City,
yeah.
if do Airbnb, the owner must live in the property. Is that right?
Yes, Sunnyvale is a little bit strict. Sunnyvale, you do have to live in the property, so you could. But other cities, check with your local city if you allows you to do separate. Like I think Santa Clara allows you to do like separate. You don't have to live in there. But Sunnyvale, yes, you do have to live in.
Where to check? To City Hall? Or
City Hall.
which department?
Just call housing.
Housing.
Housing usually is a good one. Or just ask like when you call the city, ask them, hey, I want to do Airbnb. Who should I be speaking to about potential regulations or things that I need to know about? So definitely check with your city.
Does it have to be single family house or?
It could be condos or but like again, check with your local city. But condos usually do work, but your HOA depending on certain things.
Check with HOA.
Check with HOA, yeah, check with HOA. So that's also another thing. It's like when in doubt, check. The last thing you want is have neighbors complaining about, oh, there's too many people going in and out. and then they find out you're doing Airbnb and you didn't follow the rules. So the most important thing is just make sure you understand what you can and can't do. So a couple of tips for a successful hosting. First one is make sure you take good photos of your place and make sure the photos look bright and clear. The last thing you want is to have a place where just not clear photos, people will just look at it as like, oh, okay, not very attractive. So you want to make your place stand out as much as possible. So bright photos, wide lens to make sure you get the best angle of your property. And when you start out, a lot of people have wondered, how do we start out and do Airbnb successful? There's so many people around me. Well, what I would suggest is just start with a price that's a little bit lower than what your what's around you. So do a search. Like for example, just look at what's around you and kind of do a comparison. Like, okay, there's this place that has kind of similar, a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. They're going for $150 a night. And you can say, well, maybe just start out with just to get some reviews. Maybe I could do like $130 a night just to get started with. That's kind of what I did. I just posted in for quite a bit lower than what was around, and within a couple of days, someone messaged me and said, hey, your place looks perfect. I have me and my 3 friends are staying over for 2 nights. Can we stay at your place? And that's how I got started. This is only for my current place back in beginning of this year in January, and also look at the reviews of guests before accepting their reservations. What I suggest is sometimes this is a little bit hard. You kind of have to go with your gut instinct. Some people are new, and that's totally understandable. They're the first time using it. And if you're new, just kind of message back and ask the guests, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Who's going to be staying with you? Is there a reason that you're coming to, stay? And most of the people will be very honest and let you know, oh, I'm staying because I'm visiting my friends, and there's going to be 2 of us, and that's it. So if you feel like they're good, you can trust them, definitely make your best judgment. But if they do have some reviews and you can look at the past history, that's even better. And I'll always just communicate with the guests up ahead. And also, speaking of communications, you want to set clear expectations of the rules of the house. Let's say, for example, you don't want them to go to the backyard. Let them know, hey, you can only use the front and not the backyard. Or if you need to take your shoes off in the house, make sure that they know that ahead of time. Please take your shoes off the house. Or I go to work really early, so please don't disturb me after 10 o'clock to go to sleep.
I have a question. So I want to know how much time you spend with the candidates, because it seems like Airbnb is short term for 2 or 3 nights. So do you need to chat with all the candidates?
I usually just go with the main person, like that one person that messaged me. That will be the person that I try to communicate with and just ask everything. So it's because usually on Airbnb they have their verifications already, like their ID and kind of like all the verify. So they do a lot of the work for you, kind of like make sure that it is a legitimate.
Yeah, I mean you keep changing guesses. So you have, for example, you have 2 or 3 rooms right now. So do you need to chat with all the 3 guests all the time? I mean, every 2 or 3 days.
You mean communicate with them after they come in, or
before they come in?
Okay. So so are you saying that, let's say you're renting out individual rooms?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. So maybe what you could do in that case is before they come, let them know that you're only renting 1 room, and there might be other people coming and going at the same time. Or is that kind of
No, my question just like how much time you will spend on the communication.
Oh, communications.
Yeah.
Usually
because I feel like before each guest come in, you need to chat with them. So there's a lot of time you need to speak to them instead of the traditional rental that we just chat with them one time and then they will rent for a year.
Okay.
So that is my concern, like too much time spent on.
It's usually pretty quick. I usually just chat probably within 10 messages. We kind of know that if it makes sense for them to stay. I have a pretty open policy that if I they seem nice enough, or they have good reviews, or I know what they're coming for, pretty quick. I just accept them within an hour after their request. And when someone messages you, if you don't have the instant booking on, you have up to 24 hours to make a decision whether you want them or not. So that way, it gives you enough time to at least communicate with them. A couple of things that I like to do is the day before the guest comes, do a walkthrough to make sure the place is clean, and most importantly, have enough supplies. The last thing you want is, especially if you don't live there, there's not enough toilet paper, or there's not enough shampoo, or something runs out. That could be pretty bad. So you just make sure you walk through, check everything, make sure everything's clean, the bathroom's clean, there's toilet paper, the towels there, blankets are done, clean sheets, all of that. Just, yeah.
So you bring up a good point. I'm guessing you don't live in the house since you're renting out the entire house?
I live, like, my
Nearby?
situation is kind of unique because where I live in the back of the house, I kind of partitioned off the front part. So, like, technically I do live in the house, but
Okay.
I partitioned it off where the front part is for Airbnb,
Okay.
and the back is where I live.
Because I was just curious if, so I own some houses, but they're all in Texas and I
Yeah.
live here,
Yep,
but I currently manage them from here.
got it.
But
Wow.
I'm thinking about doing Airbnb,
Yeah.
but I was wondering, I've never heard of a property management company for Airbnb.
There are ones.
Okay.
They are ones.
They're
Just
specialized just
they do short-term
Okay.
rentals, and then just ask them exactly kind of like this is, but you want to make sure you set the expectations like
Because
you
I
know,
would think it's very different managing a
Yeah.
rental that's yearly versus
exactly.
daily.
So
Yeah.
you want to make sure that person, if that they do it, just like ask them, okay, how do you, what's your cleaning crew like, or is it like
Yeah.
all those things. Think of it as like a hotel.
Okay.
So you're renting a hotel versus just like a
Right.
long-term rental. Then
Okay. Have you ever thought about doing that? Getting a property manager? I mean, I know you live in the back of
Yeah.
it, but like if you're traveling or not available.
that is a possibility that I was thinking of because I actually met somebody that would do it, but he was saying something about the fact that there's certain things that he prefers, and I'm not sure if my place qualifies. So that's another thing that could be an issue. But yeah, so definitely if you do that, find a property manager that specializes in Airbnb that could do it. Another thing is try to greet the guests in person if possible, so that way it makes like a good first impression. And I know obviously this is not possible in your case in Texas, but at least try to make the best effort saying, or create like a video. It's like, hey, this is Chad. Thank you so much for renting at my place. Great meeting you. But if you have any questions, reach out to or the property manager, or if you wanna reach out to me, see if there's anything I can help you with. Let me know as well. So. Or if you get a co-host. What a co-host is somebody that could manage your place on your behalf, and you could get like a Texas co-host to do that. And the next point I really want to stress, because it's very important, take care of the guests during the stay. Like really, if there's anything that happened, like I remember the first guest that stayed at my place, they were cooking food and the smoke alarm went off, and they were kind of really like kind of shocked, and I was like, well, hey, no worries, went over there, just turned the smoke alarm off, and then it turned out that the smoke alarm was installed too close to the kitchen, and that's probably the reason why it went off. So what I did was I took it off, and but there was another smoke alarm in the hallway, so that way they didn't have to worry about getting that alarm. And also another guest, for example, there was a clog in the sink, so we had to like get it clogged. So this is really where one of the things you have to understand about Airbnb is you really have to do a little bit extra. Like sometimes a long-term rental you have to wait for like a day or two, or Airbnb they only stay for a day or two, so you gotta take care of it like right away. So make sure that you are like service, hospitality, and good review. Good review is kind of like the basis of how Airbnb was built, where you are looking at somebody else's review and they are looking at your review at the same time, making sure that you do your best to get the good review. And obviously you have to do the right things. You can't just like force someone to give you a good review. So just do the right things, and most people are nice enough to give you really good reviews. And then last thing is clean the space thoroughly. Couple of things you need to do is wash the linen and pillowcase and blankets every single time. So have a spare or two for each bed. So that way you can swap them around if you do get the same day. And then like including towels, wash the towels, clean thoroughly, vacuum, mop, wipe, do whatever it takes to make sure that it's clean. And you could do that yourself or have a cleaner that could be designated saying, you know, if you need to have somebody to clean it for you, like on certain days, you let the cleaner know, okay, when you check out, but that by this time, say 11 o'clock, you want to make sure you're here at noon or 1 and clean everything up. So those are a couple tips to help you out.
Yeah, do you need to change every day, even though they stay for 3 or 2 days?
Preferably yes, just to make it a good kind of impression. But if you feel like you know it is clean enough and you don't think that it would matter that much, but I usually err on the best caution. So like even if they stay for 2 days, if I had enough time, I still want to clean it just to make sure that you want to think of it as if you were the guest, you were the next person coming, and you saw this bed right now. How do you feel? Like would you feel good that you're sleeping on this bed, or if you don't feel that could create that good of an impression?
Yeah, change.
Yeah.
Or just make it clean.
Clean is fine, but what I prefer to do is if you could change and wash, that's the best. The alternative is just make it kind of clean. But what I found out is that there's always stuff that like I just don't know. Like I've seen hair before, and hair, even if you could vacuum it, it still would be better to clean just to get rid of if there is any smell. So that's the reason why I try to like wash and clean as much as possible.
Do you have access to where they stay, even though they're not there? You
Yes,
can go there?
I could go there.
That's illegal to
Le-
do it.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So you because my place is set up where I have a remote like a keypad on the front door lock, and I just use that to get in, and you could use like a lockbox too, depending on how you have it set up. Now, to say how can I help you, there's two things that I could do for you. The first one is just be a consultant for you to help you get started on Airbnb, or there's also other short-term rental platforms as well, just like a one-time consultant. Or if you have something close in the South Bay, I could help you manage, be your co-host, and do like a full-service property manager where provide like answering questions for your guests, as well as make sure that everything's set up, cleaned, and clean up afterwards. Things of that nature to make sure that you have a dedicated person to do your Airbnb for you. So perfect. Did anyone have any questions or things?
Do you have a cleaning crew?
Yeah, I have somebody that I could ask to do the cleaning, but I'm looking for probably like if this happens more people, I'll probably have find another crew to.
Do you know how much does it cost for?
Usually it's about like $80 or so. Like 80 is
Each
kind of
cleaning?
each cleaning is about
You
80.
have to do it every day.
Every time they leave. That's kind of how I do. So if they stay for 3 days, sometimes it could be a week, and you just do it after they
But
they
you just said that you go in and clean the place.
Oh, clean the place after they leave.
No, during their stay.
Oh, during this, I saw it. Not really during their stay, unless if they need to clean like maybe every 2 weeks or so, if they stay for that long.
Mhm.
But it's not like every single day because that would be too much.
Not like a hotel.
Not like a
Usually
hotel. Yeah.
Okay.
Makes
Yeah.
I noticed you're renting your entire house. Did you ever consider renting just bedrooms?
I am doing that as well. So
Okay,
I can
okay.
kind of show you how I'm doing that. Where, let's take a look here. So one of the great things about Airbnb is it allows you to do a lot of customization. Like for example, go back here. So give me a sec. just go back here, see what is going on. Oh, there we go. No wonder why. I'm switching hosting. So I have a listing where I'm splitting up by the room. So for example, you see this is the whole house. This is 1 bedroom, 1 bath. This is another 1 bedroom, one bath.
Okay.
Where like if let's say this bedroom gets booked, this whole house is not available, but this one is available. Let's say this this bedroom and bath gets booked. This is going to be available. This is not available, and if this gets booked, both these are not available. So you can split it up that way too. So that way, if someone doesn't want to rent the whole place, they could just rent a bedroom. But you just make sure you set the expectations that if you're renting the bedroom, another bedroom might get rented, or if you have like a shared bathroom, it's like, oh, that bathroom's shared. So in case somebody else does come, just want to let you know ahead of time.
I'm actually more curious, like in the Bay Area, which neighborhoods are the more popular Airbnb?
Biggest popular, San Francisco for obvious reason.
How about the South Bay?
South Bay, Sunnyvale, Mountain View, anywhere close to like major tech companies. Santa Clara, a lot of the anything close to the north side, where like Google, as well as AMD, like large tech companies, that usually is like a pretty good.
So is that where your property is?
Yeah, is a Sunnyvale.
So what is your like vacancy rate?
Vacancy rate. So this month is pretty much going to be. Let's take a look. I can show you the vacancy rate for, let's just take this room right here. It's usually less than half, so I'll show you the calendar. Blah, 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 blah.
Or what's your like average monthly income for that space?
Sure. So it's about $3,300 or so far.
For 2-bedroom?
2 bath, yeah. So let's say this is February. So most of it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just making for 9 days. March is pretty much all full already
Why?
because this place is staying for 39 days, like I said. So it's pretty much booked. April got a couple, like 1 person already. So in terms of earnings, so should I show you like a performance? What is it? Transaction history. Sorry. So you see, so basically right now for the year, so paid out is about 7,900, and I still have like another 2,500, so over about 10,000 or so for the past 3 months.
1 room or
2 rooms.
2 rooms?
2 rooms, 2 bathrooms, and it's about 670 square feet or so.
2 room and 2 bath.
2 rooms, 2 bath. Yep.
How do payments work with Airbnb?
So what happens is Airbnb acts as the middleman, where the guest pays Airbnb, and once the guest checks in, within 2 days or so, you should get an email saying the payout, and then they pay out. If you have longer term, like this person staying 39 nights, they pay out most of it on the first month, and then the second month, a month later, they pay out the remaining balance. Yeah.
So are you, so I've stayed at Airbnb before, where I always have to pay a cleaning fee.
Uh-huh.
So is 100% of the cost of your cleaning passed on to the customers?
Yeah, so you could change the cleaning fee depending on how you, it is up to you. I just do 120 because that way I feel like that's a fair amount for that space, but it could be less, could be more. If you have just like 1 bedroom, it could be like $50 or $40, or you get to set up the cleaning fee however you want, but the guest does pay that cleaning fee to you, and then you could distribute it depending on how you want to do it.
So if you do an Airbnb, do you have to purchase different insurance for the house?
Yes, you definitely want to make sure you have the right insurance, because a lot of the insurance companies, Airbnb is considered a business, and they don't cover business liabilities. So check with your insurance company by saying, I want to do Airbnb at my house. Do you cover that? If
And
not,
how much more expensive is that?
it is a little bit more expensive. The one that I currently have, the premium is about $800 a year for the whole house. That is not just the part that's doing Airbnb. It's for the whole house.
Not for 2 rooms or
Yeah, I decided to cover my whole house. I just figured it makes it easier, one insurance for the whole house versus just Airbnb and then another insurance for where I live. Because that way it gets kind of complicated if something happens and don't know.
Did you say your net income, monthly net income is $3,000?
Yeah, about 3,000 or so. Like I did factor in like cost, like basically utilities and things of that nature.
How about your neighbors? Do they have any like complaint?
No,
about
no.
parking?
Parking, I have enough space on my street, because on the other side of my street there's no houses, so it's like pretty much entire like driveway. But in terms of parking, there hasn't been that much because usually everybody has like one car, and there's enough parking on the street for everybody.
So I wonder if 2-bedroom, 2 baths, you can rent it for $3,000 or more than $3,000 in the traditional way while you are doing Airbnb.
It's hard. What happened is I tried doing the traditional way, and I want to do furnish, just like kind of what it set up. But everybody that I showed the house to, they A, had their own furniture, or B, felt like it was too much money. So I decided that, you know what, let's try Airbnb and see what happens. And then it was actually successful enough that I got booked, you know, for what it is, like $10,000 already for 3 months. And then like there's another platform that I'm using that renting out to interns during the summer, and that's for $4,000 for 3 people.
What platform is that?
Pad Piper.
What is it?
Pad.
PAD?
Yeah, Pad Piper.
Pad Piper.
Yeah, so it's for interns, and there's a couple other platforms.
So we create our own account, or we
Yep.
need to join?
Yeah, you create your own account, and if you want to have me, I could be a co-host. You can add different co-hosts. It doesn't have to be me. Yeah, co-host is basically somebody that helps you